Welcome back. Guys, our guest today has been terrific. I've actually met this guy probably 10 years ago, and everyone I talk to just raves about his ability to sell from stage. It's something that I've been investigating. We've been getting into some conversations. We both live in the same city, so I'm really excited to have him on. For the first time, he is a global business strategist, and he will take your startup to become a billionaire company. Hey, it's welcome. It's Bill Walsh. How you doing, man?
It's good to be on. How are you?
Beautiful, man.
Been a minute.
It is. It has been a minute. A couple things. Really, I want to start from the beginning. So I traded stock options for a living for like 9 years, and you were a currency trader in Chicago?
I did, yes, on the floor, and then also in New York at the Lehman desk. Yeah.
Were you yelling
Yelling the whole 9 yards.
So my friends were doing that. Tom Sosnoff, Tony Batista, Scott Sheridan, those guys, and they would tell me crazy stories about dudes just getting hammered at work. One guy throwing another guy through a wall. Like it was the pit traders were crazy back in the day.
You know, I started as a runner on the floor, and then as a phone clerk, and then as a trader. So I saw it all.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing was that the intensity level was nothing like you've ever seen before.
Yes.
You know, and I never traded stocks, never traded really anything except currencies.
Yeah.
So I really understood early that the markets never closed.
Yeah.
So I would sleep with a wire on my finger that would move, that would zap me if the markets moved a certain amount at nighttime.
That's great.
So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize listed equities are 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Yeah.
But commodities and currencies
stop.
is 24/5.
That's right.
And so that was something I had to learn too, because I just traded SPX.
Yeah,
SPY closes at 4 p.m.
Right, your day was over.
Yeah. So for me, I was like Sunday night. I'm just staring. I'm sweating, looking at the.
See, the challenge
market.
when you traded that, you had no way to get out.
Yeah.
So if the market had something over the weekend and you're in SPX,
Yeah.
you know, you're kind of stuck till Monday morning.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that was one of the attractive things around currency.
Do you think that, the other thing I've noticed is all the guys that I know do this were big dudes who talked really loud and were extremely extroverted. Do you think that had anything to do with?
Well, I think you had to have a strong voice, right?
Yeah.
Because don't forget, and you had to have great listening. You had to be able to close your eyes and hear all the trades. So imagine that you had to know everyone's voice in the pit, because if you didn't hear that voice the right way, or your voice wasn't heard, then it was a mistake the next day.
Is selling from stage the main thing you teach, or is it just a scaling?
No,
business?
it's just one thing. So we teach mainly how to launch, grow, build, scale companies. So whether you're a startup or you do $1 billion a year, how do you become more efficient? How do you scale it? How do you have the right partners, right marketing partners, write the right business plans, write your books, write your grants, marketing funnels, sales funnels, loyalty programs, partnerships. Most people don't realize that the key to really scaling a company is not how much money you can spend, it's how many great marketing partners do you have.
Yes.
You know, look at your phone today and pull up YouTube and show me how many influencers currently market for you. How many chambers, how many rotaries, how many BNIs, how many groups are behind your product or service? Because if not, then you got to spend all your money to make it happen.
Yeah.
So we teach, instead of spending all your money on ads and TV and radio, invest in relationships. Invest with people that already are partner with your customer, right? I didn't know companies like Google or AT&T or T-Mobile or Shark Tank, but when I was the main sponsor for all the small business expos, we brought them all on as sponsors. Why? Because the minute we had Google as a sponsor, or we had Shark Tank as a sponsor, all we had to do was promote to the world that Google's here, American Express here, and Shark Tank's here, and the world would show up.
So social proof.
Social proof, but also help them, right? Yeah. How do you create wins for your clients first, right? I didn't know Bobby Kennedy, but we hosted an event. He spoke at our conference. We became good friends.
Yeah.
I helped him raise money for his candidacy, helped him with their marketing. So a lot of times what most people don't realize is that you try to do this all by yourself, you're not going to get there. You're going to burn out.
Yeah.
But if you look at the most successful brands in the world, almost all of them either have big, massive marketing budgets or they got great marketing partners.
Is affiliates part of what you teach?
It is, absolutely. We teach affiliate marketing, marketing partnerships, joint ventures.
Yeah.
We love to invest in brands that have recurring revenue models.
Yeah.
We love to help companies. I mean, I started my career at high school and college as a trader. I did turnarounds at M&A for 10 years. We would either take you public, we'd close your company, or sell the assets or fix it. And by the year 2000, I was burnt out.
Yeah.
My kids were like 9, 7, and 2, and I'm like, there has to be more. And I took 2 weeks off, and the 2 weeks became 2 years. Because I believe that everyone, if you're listening, sometimes you got to check out to check back in. And then I teamed up with a young company back then called GoDaddy as a marketing partner.
Yeah.
This other company called Franklin Covey as a channel partner. And we launched a product called Successful, a little business in a box product. And my family thought I lost my mind. So for the entrepreneurs today, if your family thinks you're nuts, you're probably on the right track.
Yeah.
But within 20 months, we were in 20 countries selling that product. Then a business course Rainmaker, then masterminds and speaker programs. And now we do 200-300 events a year around the world to help business owners.
Live events.
Live events. And still train maybe about 2,000 to 3,000 speakers a year, but about 40 speakers where we actually take them through a 5-day intensive to build their product box, shoot their videos, help them create all their offers. And before they come to that class, they're already great at what they do, probably 3 years in their niche. But then we put them on stages to sell it. So we include 3 stages where one's a digital, one's a live, one's a group. Because if people spend money on speaker programs and never speak, what good is that?
Right.
Or they try to run their own events and they go broke because it's not easy to fill events.
It's not, yeah.
And I've seen people spend as much as $500,000 trying to run an event and like nobody shows up.
Yeah.
So the event marketing really is an art form as well. So we teach a lot of that.
So I teach, my company is about networking, communication, leadership, dating. And in a lot of the things we talk about, I've noticed these similarities. You talk about charity events, which is a big part of what I recommend guys do.
100%.
And then the other one was I love this, was providing value off the rip. So if I talk to somebody, whenever I go to dinner with my friends who are really successful, I notice the conversation is always us trying to solve problems for one another.
Yep.
And often I have 2 friends of mine who launched a coaching program recently, and I worked on it for hours, and then they were like curious. They were wondering when I was going to ask for money, and I was like, no. And then when they launched it, I was a guest speaker.
That's right.
And I remember them telling me, is like, we couldn't understand like why you were doing all this for us. And later on, I mean, it just pays dividends down the road for solving other people's problems.
If you help other people win, the word's going to get out.
Yeah.
Think about when we first reconnected again, right?
Yeah.
I said, hey, why don't you come speak at our conference?
Yeah.
Right? And like a couple weeks later, you're speaking at one of our CEO summits with one of my billionaire clients here in town. Next thing you know, I didn't ask for anything, but I knew you had great stuff, and why not have you share it with people?
Sure.
And see, this is the mistake people make, is that they listen to a station called WIIFM, What's in It for Me?
Yes.
Instead of what's in it for them. And the minute you change from here's what I got and here's what I want to here's who I am and here's what I can serve, the universe will show up for you. And I tell everyone, go to charity events, go there early, set up chairs.
Yeah.
Don't just go for the red carpet. Stay till the very end, help break it down, because you'll meet everybody. You'll meet all the most important people.
Yeah.
And don't go alone. Go with a tribe. Get 4 or 5 good friends. And if your friends have no money, then go find some new friends with some money. And get out to the events where I believe the game changers, the people making it happen, they're all at.
My buddy Ty Lopez, I speak at some of his events, the mansion parties he does every month, and I always try to bring like 12 to 20 girls with me every time I come, because there's a party afterwards and everyone's networking. I used to do that all the time. I would go to RSD. I know you had some affiliation with Owen Cook. I would try to show up with 4 or 5 girls every time I went to one of those things, and I noticed people always wanted to come up and network with me afterwards.
Well, of course. Yeah. Now, it wasn't just that. It was the energy that you brought.
Yeah.
See, people can feel... Did you ever notice that some people come in the room and lights go dim?
Yeah.
They're so freaking negative. It's like, oh, they're here again. You know what I'm saying? Other people come in the room, lights brighten up.
Yeah.
You know, and you want to be around people that they make the rooms brighter. You want to be that person too.
Yeah.
So if you're having a bad day and you're going to an event, then check your bad day at the door. And I think that so often that people don't take the time to really think about who's in the room.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to these events, study who the speakers are, get to know who the people are, and always go VIP. Always get the most expensive VIP ticket you can afford. And then, of course, if you can't afford it, then find a friend that can afford it.
Yeah.
And then go with them and help promote them. Because you're going to find that if you go GA, you're telling the world that you're GA.
Yeah.
If you always go VIP, you're telling the world you're VIP. And I don't care about who the speaker is. That's great. But I care about who's in that room.
Yeah. You know Dan Fleischman?
Of course.
Yeah. So Dan has really gotten me into live events recently. So now I do 8 one-week-long boot camps here, and then we sell from stage, and then we also have we go to Mexico together for a vacation where it's a conference, but it's also like a world-class bikini competition at the same time for a week.
So you do some work and have a lot of fun.
Yes, for sure. I'm the host of the contest,
Wow.
and I'm coaching the guys during the week as well.
Perfect.
So it's pretty cool. One of the things that I do love that I heard you say, so I'm trying to remember the book. I read Oren Klaff's Pitch Anything, and then there was another book I read on selling from stage, how to sell from stage. It was the guy was Chinese. I forgot his author, and you fill out all the different parts of it. And I would go back with Owen and talk about selling from stage, because the thing you talked about, Owen wanted me to ask you this question, is the Wayne Newton speech. So you know what I'm talking about.
Of
And this
course,
this
yeah.
was my problem. I would go up
You'd
there.
always get the Wayne Newton.
Yeah,
You get the Wayne Newton effect.
I would go up there and I would make everyone laugh.
Yeah.
And I would yell, and people would be like, "That was the greatest speech I've ever heard in my
Right.
life." And I pitched nothing,
And nobody would
no
buy.
one could, no one bought. Yeah. And so, can you go over that concept of selling from straight?
So the Wayne Newton effect is that if they're all clapping, pretty good chance they're not buying.
Yeah.
Right. So your job as a speaker that sells to make them feel uncomfortable. Your job is to make sure that you hit some of the pain points and be authentic. The problem with most people that sell from stage, they wait till the last 5 minutes, then, oh my God, here's my pitch.
Yeah.
And it's like, you just blew it.
Yeah.
So we teach them that your sales start long before you show up in the room. You know, your time on stage is nothing more than giving them great tools that if they never buy from you ever, they still feel the tools were great. But you have to make sure that you have clarity in your offer, and you got to know in your heart that can you serve them? See, the mistake for most speakers that try to sell from stage, they want to sell from logic.
Yeah.
People don't buy from logic, they buy from emotion.
Yeah.
Within the first 7 seconds, can this guy help me, yes or no? So if you can't make that first initial impression that says, this is the guy, then they're probably going to buy from somebody else that helps them see that they can get them from A to B faster than getting there by themselves.
One thing that I learned, and I'm curious if you teach this, is I took the 3 or the 4 most common objections that I got on sales calls, and I talked about them as if they were features in the program,
Right.
and completely disarmed those objections before we even got to the end, where I was like, "Hey guys," it was almost like the come to Jesus.
Yeah.
Do you want salvation? Go to the back of the room and
Right.
speak. It was like that. Go see one of my guys here in the back of the
Right.
room. Is that something that you teach as far as like dealing with some of the objections?
It's not so much the objections that most people, I always like to ask the question that they face. So let's just say that you're talking about dating,
Yeah.
right? And you might say, you know, why is it that most men do not feel comfortable approaching supermodels?
Yeah.
Or approaching a beautiful woman?
Yeah.
And then what happens, they're going to give you all the reasons. And I don't care what reasons they give you, you probably know that there's a few. There's a top 3 that you've seen for doing this so long, and so it becomes so natural for you. But then all of a sudden, if they start to relate to what you just talked about and you have the solution for that, there's a pretty good chance they're buying from you that day.
Yeah.
You know, so I know speakers always worried about the price. It's never the price. It's the results. People don't care what you do, they care what you do for them.
Yeah.
And if you can communicate that effectively in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 50 minutes, right? I mean, I've had days more than $500,000 in sales in less than 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I've had $1 million days. So I know what it takes to move the room, but I think the mistake that most people make is they don't understand something called authentic selling. If you can't help somebody, then just tell them you can't help them.
Yeah.
For our Platinum Speaker program, we charge $25,000 for the year. You get 5 full days with me, 12 hours a day. We build everything out, media kits, product box, shoot your videos. Then we put you on 3 stages. We do a revenue share, which means every time we put you on a stage, we take 30%. If we book you on our stage, put you on someone else's stage, we take 10%. So we've built this thing down to a science, but 80% of our applicants don't get in.
Oh, okay.
They're turned down.
Yeah.
Because what they're going to talk about is not going to sell from stage.
Yes.
So why would I want them in the class? Because if I couldn't book them to speak on my stage or your stage, because if I tell you, hey, I got this great speaker, Bob's going to come over, you're going to love him, he's going to do a great job, and he bombs. You don't blame him, you blame me.
Yeah.
Because I vouch for that guy.
Yeah.
And I will tell you this too, for speakers that want to sell from stage, your first 100 talks are all practice. They're all earn while you learn. I've done more than 5,000 presentations in front of more than 1 million people. So I know what it's like to have a good day or a bad day, but I'm telling you that most speakers, the reason they don't make it, they quit.
No.
They give up way too soon. So don't give up on your goals and dreams. And the biggest shortage today, believe it or not, is women speakers. We need more women speakers on stages all over the world. And if you guys are listening today, just write this down. You belong in every room. People don't believe that. I'm not the right ethnicity. I'm not the right this. I'm not the right. I'm telling you right now today, you belong in every room. And show up with a tribe.
Yeah.
You're way more powerful walking in with 10 females or 10 of your business buddies
Yes.
than you are walking in by yourself and walking around and say, but I don't know anybody. Well, then start inviting people.
Yeah. You mentioned showing up to someone else's event and 10% of the room you brought.
That's right.
Yeah.
I would always make sure that I was the #1 promoter. No matter whose event it was, if I was going to speak at their event, I would always want to make sure that I would be bringing guests to their room. Because now all of a sudden they feel different. You're not just a speaker that comes and takes. you're the speaker that comes and adds value. So I'd always get an affiliate link. How to become an affiliate for the person that's running the event.
Yeah.
I would do paid traffic.
Yeah.
I would buy traffic for someone else's event because now all of a sudden I'm not only just making sales on our courses or programs, because some speakers think, well, I'm bringing my greatness to your room. Well, there's probably someone else that's equally great as you.
Yeah.
But the other person brought us 20 new guests.
Yeah.
That then enrolled in our programs. You brought nobody. There's not a lot of time for takers.
Yeah.
And the problem is that they call every day. They will literally call every day and say, hey, when can I speak at your event? I say, well, when is your event? Oh, we don't have speakers. I said, well, neither do we.
Yeah.
But we book 500 speakers a year or more on our stages.
It's funny. So I do the DJs who all play here in Las Vegas. A lot of them were club promoters, and a lot of them were VIP hosts beforehand. So like I think of like the EC Twins or John Borges.
Sure.
Because they would sell 10 tables, then the club had to make them the DJ.
That's right.
So it was one of these things where they already brought that value. And I talked to my client, because I have several clients who want to be DJs, and I explained to them.
Like my son.
Yeah, exactly.
He's ready.
Yes.
Give him a shot. Put him in, coach.
So I talked to them, and I explained to them, like, you or I would have a better shot being a DJ because we would sell
we fill the
10,
room.
20 tables.
Sure.
And they don't care as much about the music you're playing. So what I found was that, like, the promoter, like you said before, he is the one where the club can't tell you no because you just did 100K in revenue before you walked in the door.
That's right. They
love
love
the same thing. I said the same thing. I have some females that were former Playboy models, and they became DJs, and they would have a bunch of girls show up and then a bunch of guys buying tables, and so the club kept hiring them over and over again. Of
course.
Because you're solving the problem beforehand.
Well, the mistake is that people's ego get in the way, right? Leave your ego at home. Yeah. You might think you're the greatest speaker of all time, but there'll be someone else right after you. So the promoter / speaker, and the thing is, understand this too, that most speakers are not promoters. I'd say 95% of speakers that say I can fill the room can't fill the room at all. Yeah. Because they're never a prophet in their own town. Or they might not know someone in the town they're going to speak in. Yeah. So if you're the event promoter, don't ever count on your speakers to fill the events. Your job is to fill the event.
Where do you think social media fits as far as promote? Like, I'm able to fill rooms because almost entirely social media. Owen Cook's one of my best friends.
Social media works. Social media works every day because it's social proof.
Yeah.
And I think what happens is that people want to see you live. Yeah. They want to actually meet you in person. I mean, I've been in airports, I've been in Coachella, people walk up and say, you don't realize this, but 10 years ago you changed my life. And it's one of the greatest things ever. And it's kind of like, why do I still do what I do? Because I love it. I love watching people win. I can see things people they can't see themselves. And a lot of times I've always had that gift to help them fast track what they're working when it comes. And now listen, I'm not a life coach. I'm not a fitness coach. I'm not a dating coach. I'm not a relationship coach. I'm a damn good business coach. This stuff I know. I mean, I coach entrepreneurs and I coach billionaires and everything in between. Yeah. This I know very, very well. And sometimes it just takes one person to see things you can't see in yourself. Yeah. And before you know it, because that one person saw something in you, now you go out and you take action on it and you get results.
You mentioned specialists get wealthy, generals get paid.
Generalists
gets paid.
So think about if you're a doctor, right? An MD makes so much money, but how much does a surgeon make?
Yeah, a lot.
It's not even close. Yeah. It's not even close. So whatever your industry is, pick a niche and get to the top 10.
That was a hard thing for me, was to really, because there was 9 different, I was a military officer, and there was 19 different things I wanted to teach. Yeah. And then we just ran hundreds of ads. And then one we found recently, men who want to meet women without drinking. I didn't know. I didn't know. Meta told me that this was something guys wanted to learn because they feel the pressure to go get drunk every time they go out and meet women, and figuring out a way to fix that.
And I think part of that is because they have to get outside of their own uncomfortableness, right? Instead of realizing that, and we teach this as well, if you ever want to do deals with millionaires and billionaires, right? We have a process for it. Yeah. It's no different than meeting a woman, right? So there's a simple thing. Number 1, pay a compliment. Number 2, 90-10 rule. 90% about them, 10% about you. So shut the fuck up. Yeah. The problem is people don't know how to shut up. So they get a chance to talk, they say blah, 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 or let them talk. When I've met the most successful billionaires in my life, I was always just nothing more than a quiet steward. Yeah. What are you working on now that you're most excited about? And let them talk. Yeah. And we learned a process called LLP. So you listen, you learn, and you process. And you do it quickly. And you begin to realize that if you never bring the conversation back to you until they do it, what a difference that has in terms of your ability to effectively connect.
Yes. What I like to say is they talk about themselves and we talk about things.
Yeah.
So we don't talk about, so I might talk about a concept that may help their business, but I'm not going to talk about me personally.
That's
and
right.
then they talk about themselves.
That's right.
There's a funny, you should probably maybe put this in one of your speeches.
Yeah.
There's a speed dating event they had in the UK, and they transcribed all the dates between all the couples.
Wow.
And the second dates happened most frequently when the woman said me or I more than 7 times. It didn't matter if the man did, but
Right.
if the woman did, it was
Correct.
more likely.
Correct.
If he got her to talk about herself, the likelihood of there being a second date increased pretty dramatically.
Well, see, the minute you get around wildly successful people, they have what's called a meter.
Yeah.
They have a success meter, right? And they can start to tell right away that, is this person trying to sell me something?
Yeah.
And I think it relates the same in dating. It's very similar. If they feel like they're being sold, they move out of the conversation quickly. And the more that someone comes from adding value with expecting nothing in return, you're going to find that that conversation goes a whole lot further in your direction, because if you'll just let them ask for your information, let them ask how to get in touch with you, that's a much better way than you trying to tell them how great you are or what you can do. Because, for example, you meet a billionaire and you start talking about how you're going to help them with their health.
Yeah.
You don't think a billionaire has some health coaches? You don't think they got financial coaches, right? But you got to find out what's important to them. And if what's important to them is their charity, then you say, listen, you got a next event, I'll be the first one to buy a table.
Yeah.
I'll be the first one to help support. I'll be the first one to be let's say you have no money. I'll be the first one to volunteer there.
Yeah.
And you're going to find that people pay attention really quickly to the quality of your language. If your listeners want a really great nugget, the quality of your language will dictate the quality of your life and your bank account and all of your relationships. So become a student of good language.
One thing we just were talking about this a second ago.
Yeah.
A specialist, a lot of times it's the ego. You want to do several different things, but how do you figure out which is the one thing that you're going to specialize in?
Well,
and how do you let go of all those other things?
Well, you don't let go of them. You just make them hobbies.
Okay.
So think about, you're going to have your one thing, right? There's a great book called The One Thing.
By Gary Keller, yeah.
But part of it is realize that what are you really great at? Because if someone says to me, hey, listen, I can paint your house, I can fix your boat, I can also cut the grass, but I'm also a LASIK surgeon. I'm like, I don't want you touching my eyes. You know what I'm saying? So if you can effectively communicate that, then make those hobbies.
Yeah.
And figure out, what are you really great at? This is a simple test. What are you really great at? Does it serve a lot of people? Is there money in the space? And would you do it for free?
Yeah.
And if you can figure out those 4 questions, you probably know what you should be doing. Now, whether you do it or not is up to you, but at least you know that's what you should be doing.
Yeah. I was coaching for 11 years for free. And then when I started this company, we were doing 6 figures a month from day one.
Wow.
Because we developed like 10 years of goodwill. And so that's exactly right.
Right.
And I would be willing
Well,
to
you
do this for
became the
free.
source.
Yeah.
And when you become the source, people start calling you, right?
Yeah.
And that's another thing that, and I guess it's in business and life, but focus on what's called attraction marketing. Be so good at what you do in your niche that people start calling you every day.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden what starts to happen is momentum kicks in. Then your prices go up, right? I mean, I remember that I would charge, maybe a couple $1,000 for an hour, or something. And now it's as much as $1 million a year.
Yeah.
And if they can't afford it, that's okay. Then what most people don't realize is that don't discount your value. You might have to realize you're in the wrong room.
Yeah.
And when you're in the right room with the right people you deliver, it's never a question about getting paid for your time and service.
Right. And also there's only so many people I can help one-on-one, right?
Yeah.
There's a limit, so that you have to account
I
for
never
that
do
with
more
price.
than 10 a year.
There you go.
You can't do it because you know what? If you decide to do that, well, then you just bought yourself a high-paying job.
Yeah.
And that's why group programs, live events, webinars, membership sites. I mean, there are people today that I was with a guy, he does $100 million a month on a $7 membership.
That's wild.
$100 million a month on a $7 membership monthly. So don't always think that you've got to be there all the time, but for the right clients, be there. Clients that if we invest in their brand or it's a high-level marketing partnership, I want to spend some time with them because I've got a vested interest in their long-term success versus just can I pick your brain at lunch? Like, no, you can't. I've paid too much to be able to learn how to fix things for companies. And you want to get paid not for your time, but for the value of your time.
The difference that you've seen between, say, 6, 7, 8, and 9-figure companies? What are the things that you see that are different?
Well, first of all, one of the toughest things you'll ever do is get to 7 figures. It's probably the toughest benchmark because it's almost all on you.
Yeah.
You know, so you really have to work on your discipline here. And this is what a lot of entrepreneurs have a challenge with is they get that SOS program, that shiny object syndrome, and they want to do everything. And you've got to learn to delegate things you suck at. Anything that's anything less than, let's say, when you're first starting out, $50 to $100 an hour has to get off your list, right? Because the minimum wage for a millionaire is about $500 an hour, a little over that. And so look at your daily habits, look at your long-term goals and see if they line up.
Dan Martell talks about this in the Buy Back Your Time. Divide your yearly salary by 8,000, and then that's like a quarter of what you make per hour.
Yeah.
And that's what you pay someone else to take that off your plate.
I don't believe it's what you do to really become wildly successful. It's what you delegate.
Yeah, that's what
look at your look at your daily habits and see how many of your habits start with things that were delegated before you went to bed.
Yeah.
Did you make a list of things to be delegated before you went to bed so that by the time you wake up, the KPIs are there, the reports are there? Because the numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you can lie to yourself, but the numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
So I begin to realize that what are you really most effective at? Let's say that you're great at administrative. Good, then hire sales. Let's say you're great at sales and hire administrative. You know, figure out where your weakness is at and hire into your weakness. But as you get from 7 to 8 to 9-figure companies, you're going to find that 9-figure companies are almost all visionaries. They're not going to be the salesperson. They're going to be someone that sees the bigger picture, and they're really good at empowering people.
Yeah.
They're really good at bringing the best out of people. They're great at cultivating team leaders, not teams, but team leaders. And before you know it, you'll see that very few report to the ones that run the 9 and 10-figure companies. Maybe less than 20 people. Even if their staff is 5 to 10,000, it's a very small group that reports to them. But make no mistake about it, those guys pay attention to the details.
Yeah.
I've got billion-dollar-plus annual clients, and I'm telling you, they don't miss the details. You know, and they're a consummate student of their craft.
Yeah.
They never stop innovating. They're always thinking, how do I make something new? Even though they're doing great. Yep. Their sales are through the roof. And for most people, they're like, oh my God, if I was doing $100 million a year, I'd be so happy. But you know, the thing is, even at $1 billion a year, $5 billion a year, like, how do we make this better?
Yeah.
You know, and that's fun to watch.
Like the difference between Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs. Wozniak being like a technician working in engineering and design, and Steve Jobs being the visionary for the overall brand. There are some people like, I don't want to do the taxes for my company. I'll be honest with you. I don't want to do the hiring, firing. I have other people to do that.
Sure.
If I could just coach 24 hours a day and make YouTube videos, that's what I want to do. That's it.
That's where your gift is at.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you have a gift as a communicator, then you create what's called a Gantt. And you build a Gantt for a business that shows what does the hierarchy look like, right? And you make everyone build something called their hats. Like, what do you mean build your hats? See, inside of a corporate organization, when you build out the hat, you make the person write out, what do they do? What is their role? How do they see themselves in the organization? What do they feel are their duties to do? Now, you as the visionary got to work backwards and say, well, you listed all these things, but let me take these 3 away and do this. But if you never take the time to have them write out their hat of what they're supposed to be doing, sometimes they think they're doing all the right stuff, but it's not the right stuff in connection with what you need to have get done to achieve those big markers, those goals. So the Gants are going to map out your budgets. They're going to map out your marketing strategy, your sales strategy, your KPIs, your give back. Well, the reason we created the Rainmaker Summit 20 years ago was to find deals to invest in or partner with.
Yeah.
So we put them through a 3-day MBA-style course. We charge $5,000 for the whole year. But it's the most intense 3 days you'll ever have in your life when it comes to really understanding, have you written your book yet? Have you written any grants for your company? I have billion-dollar clients. Their last grant was $500,000. Now, why would someone that makes $1 billion a year apply for grants? Because it's free money. Yeah. Yet most entrepreneurs never apply for even one grant. We'll give them 60 places to apply for a grant. We make them build their EBS, their executive business summary. We make them build out their whole new business plan. We make them apply for 4 grants a quarter. Because if you're not going to, why doesn't everybody use Bank of America's 0% interest card today? Bank of America has a 0% card that's good for 18 months. But they're not going to call you and say, hey, apply for this one. But you better understand that everybody in a company works for sales, but you got to make sure you take care of the bottom line.
Yeah.
And so we start to realize the bigger the companies get, sometimes there's something called slippage where they miss it. And big companies will have something called watchers. You know what a watcher is? All they do is watch everyone else do the work.
Yeah.
They don't say nothing. Their head's always down, but they're not producing anything. Have you ever seen a video game? There's something called an NPC.
Yes.
Okay, so some organizations have what are called NPCs.
Non-player character.
Non-player character. And they're happy to be the NPC.
Because they get a salary.
And as big as the company becomes, sometimes you miss the NPCs because they make other people feel good.
Yeah.
But the top people don't see it because they've never taken the time to build the hat, to build the Gantt out, to look at are they on track or off track? And these are the things, once again, that I believe that most companies that have really incredible success, they pay attention to the details.
Yes.
Hire people you can trust with your kids. Hire people that are good at what they do. Hire someone that can manage a team of 5 people. If they can't manage a small team, they're not going to grow within your brand.
So I asked the other execs in my company and the managers for questions for you.
Yeah,
A lot of them are big fans of yours. Keeping a team of A players. So this is something we've had before where if a guy, let's just say you have a sales team, if a guy's crushing it too much, he might want a new job, right?
I've seen that with some of your people.
Yeah.
I've seen it in lots of organizations,
Yeah.
right? So what you have to build into your business models is, and I know a lot of times people don't want to hear this, but you've got to build in something called loyalty. Where they really have to feel that you have their back all the way through. And if they feel that you're loyal to them, which means, God forbid something was wrong. If something was wrong with some of our members, I'd send a private jet for them. They needed some money, I'd send the money right away. I don't care. But they know I've got their back. But I've had the same executive admin for 20 years. Same head of sales for 15 years. My business partner, my son, 16 years, right? Some of our internal team, more than 14, 15 years, each of them. And I don't pay them the most money, but they know I've always got their back. So loyalty is a big thing. Integrity is a big thing. But I'll tell you what else people like. They like recognition. Along with money, they like trips.
Yeah.
They like go racing, right? So we're giving away 1,000 tickets for one of the indie races coming up, right?
Yeah.
To some of our best customers. And it's like, bring your top 10 friends. Because you know what? People like to feel that they matter. So it's not always compensation. It's compensation plus the ability to feel recognized, getting that recognition in the public marketplace where they can see that you've gone out of your way to make sure they got this award. I do awards at every event we do.
Yeah.
Every major event we do, I make sure someone from the team gets some kind of an award in front of hundreds of people. Because when they get that award, they feel different. Now they feel like they're part of a family. And they have to feel that. Now, in addition to that, you can create what are called quarterly profit programs, where not based on the revenue, but based on the delta of revenue. Which means if the revenue goes up by 6 or 8%, so can your bonus. But if they're not increasing the revenue, then why would you get a bonus? You're already getting paid really well, but look at what's called delta growth on revenue. In almost every company I work with, I make them build a delta growth on revenue that says, why not create bonuses based on the delta?
Yeah.
Which means if they kick the revenue 20, 30%, now it just makes the mark harder the next quarter.
Yeah.
And you're going to find that people love surprise income.
Yeah.
They
But
just
for sure, surprise income.
They love surprise income.
That's the quote. I'm putting that on Twitter. People love surprise income. For sure. I agree with that. The other thing is, so I would say we're pretty close to 8 figures. We're just underneath there right now. And I will tell you that the thing that requires the most effort and care on our part is the sales team month to month. So they'll have an incredible month and then a poor month and an incredible month and a poor month. Is there something that you teach as far as consistency with let's just say, remote closer, a remote closer sales team?
So there's something called LPC.
Okay.
Right? So leads, presentations, customers. And what I find is that if you really have someone that knows your product, knows your service, we find that so many of our clients come from client referrals.
Okay.
They had a great experience, they go tell 10 of their friends. So if I went to your website right now, you can pull up your website right now, show me the button that says, a big button that says, we love referrals.
Oh, yeah, it's moamentoring.com/affiliates.
No, but no,
Yeah.
that's not an affiliate.
Yeah.
I'm talking about just your customers that love you.
Got it.
Does it say, we love referrals?
Yes.
If you want to increase your revenue by 10% today,
Great idea, yeah.
by the end of this year, go to your website today and put a button that says, we love referrals. I'll give you an example. Open up something called the Tesla app.
Yeah.
Do you have a Tesla?
I don't.
Okay, so if you have a Tesla and you open up the app, the first thing you're going to see when you open up that Tesla app, let me just show you guys while you're watching. It's a crazy, now, once again, it's not that Elon Musk needs more money, right? But I will promise you, the first thing you're going to see, and you guys can zoom in there, is a referral button.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
We
it's up
love
on the top
referrals.
right. It's top right, yeah.
So if it's good enough for Tesla, it's good enough for who?
Yeah, it's good enough for everybody, yeah.
Good enough for everybody.
Yeah.
So what most of us don't realize, your satisfied customers almost always know at least 10 people. So go to this website called Next Day Flyers. You can create a simple 3x6 red card. And on the red card says, "We love referrals." That's all it says. And you give away some prizes. You give away dinner with Mike, dinner with the leaders, right?
Yeah.
Some kind of luncheon, some kind of upgrade to your room when you come to Mexico.
Yeah.
Whatever it's going to be. Have you ever been to a basketball game?
All the time.
Have you ever seen them throw out the T-shirts?
Yes.
Have you ever watched adults knock kids over for a $2 shirt?
Yeah.
And the shirt doesn't even fit them.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. They like to win. So I'm telling you today, why do I give away a Ferrari? Because if someone wins a Ferrari, they tell everybody, right? I don't care about the Ferrari. If they can sell 100 of our Rainmakers, I'm glad to give them something crazy like that.
Yeah.
But it's also T-shirts, hats, giveaways. People will do a lot of stuff to win great prizes. But Next Day Flyers create the 3x6 card. Oh, but Bill, I'm not a designer. Then go to ChatGPT. Go to Upwork. They'll make a flyer for you. And if you'll just give every client you have a red envelope that's got gold foil inside of it, you put those 10 tickets in there that says, if you like what this program was about, then please share these 10 gift cards. And that gift card, don't ever lower your prices. It gives them something extra if they enroll within the next 10 days. 10 gift cards, 10 days. You watch how this increases your revenue. You will watch people that, and I'm telling you, I see it every time. I coach them, I say, go to your website and show me your give back button. Like, what give back button?
Yeah.
Well, if your company doesn't give back, they don't think you're a good corporate citizen. They don't believe that you're there to really help. They think you're just there to make money.
Yeah.
And so they'll go find someone else that has those things on there. So we find that with closers, if you'll really make them work, which means that 1 call per day goes to a satisfied customer, saying nothing more than, man, love you, just want to see how things are going, want to say thanks for being a customer. If I can do anything for you at all, just give me a call. Gotta go, bye.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, that customer that got that phone call feels what?
It
feels great.
It feels great.
And now they might just send a what? I want to make sure that you got the referral cards I sent you. I know you just finished the program. We sent you 10 cards in the mail, came Federal Express, because it's really important. These are golden tickets. Who do you know? See, everyone knows at least 2.3. Every customer you have knows at least 2.3 customers for you. And yet most people won't spend the $200 to buy the referral cards to ship out to those great clients.
Incredible. Signs that a business might be headed for trouble.
Well, if you always are around the circle of too much month, not enough money.
Okay.
So any business you're going to have, it needs to have some cash.
Yeah.
So I don't care what your business is, give it a good chance to run. Don't ever think that Lamborghini is going to drive itself without gas, or unless it's electric, right? It needs some gas. So the first thing in a business, if you have a great idea, great product, great service, make sure you're capitalized.
Yeah.
And stay away from friends, family, and fools.
Okay.
Do not get money from your friends, family, or fools. If it's a seed round for a small amount and they know the risk involved, different story. But I'm telling you right now, there's no shortage of cash out there. We are living in a world today that has the most abundance of cash ever in the history of civilization. There's no shortage of money. Family offices have so much money. And stay away from VCs. They're called vulture capitalists, right? Banks are in the business to loan you money and stay away from personal credit. There's enough business credit out there. Slowly build up your trade lines of credit. Because what most people don't do is they don't give themselves enough runway. And I'm going to tell you for entrepreneurs today that almost all the success you're going to find is right outside your comfort zone. So you gave yourself a quarter mile, you gave yourself a 100-foot runway, but you're trying to take off a 747. You don't have enough runway. So make sure there's enough runway commensurate with what you're trying to build. And this is something that goes back to, why do you hire a good coach? Because if you could have did it by yourself, guess what?
You would have.
Would have already been done.
Yeah.
And a good coach is not going to tell you what to do. They're going to make sure that you see the things that you need to see to make a better decision. And then all of a sudden you start making that decision. You want your clients to supersede you. You want your clients to knock it out of the park, be better than you are. And if you've done that, you've done something right.
Yeah.
So surround yourself and don't be trying to find clients. Learn to attract clients. And you're going to find with salespeople, they need weekly spiffs. They need something every week that gets them to say, oh my God, I just got that $1,000. I just won that one night at the hotel. I just won those 2 tickets for the fight. So every week you as the leader have to come up with things for your sales guys that they can ring the bell. And then when they ring the bell, make sure you ring it loud. Make sure you're idolizing, Joe from Tallahassee just did this, let's go, Joe. And I've been to sales conferences, right? Most salespeople, they love to feel appreciated.
Yes.
So appreciation goes a long way, but also doing things they would never do on their own.
Our sales leader every week is called the sales god.
Sales
like
god,
who's sales god this week?
Who's sales god this week? Sure.
Yeah, and
who's got the chain
on Slack? It shows that like a crown next to their name.
There you go.
Whatever, and it's like live updates on.
But what else do they get? What else do you give them?
Some of them are going on a trip with us to Mexico for Swimsuit USA.
Cool.
There's a bunch of other stuff they get with me. Also, a lot of them are former clients, and they get just one-on-ones with me anytime they want.
That's awesome.
That's another thing. I try to sit there and get in. I understand the personal life, and like a lot of times with the sales team, I am coaching them internally. But we have a sales coach initially. For me, it's generally more lifestyle, fitness, and dating stuff. But we also have another guy who's like, hey, we're having trouble closing. What do you think the issue is? And we have weekly meetings where we watch some of the closes every week and try to get better with that as well. But that is, if your company is a Lamborghini, it's the 800 horsepower engine. That's the sales team. It's like requires so much.
Everybody works for sales.
Yes.
Just make sure you know that everybody. I don't care what your company is. Everybody works for
tied
sales.
to revenue. Yeah, that's exactly.
Well, because you know what, the customer service have nothing to do if they don't have customers.
Yeah.
Right. But to make sales most effective, you build great marketing. Think about what Apple did. Apple has got the best marketing. By the time you get to the store, they could have a monkey at the store. Doesn't matter. You're going to buy that Apple 40 phone.
Tesla's the same way. Yeah.
You're done by the time you get there because their process is so good. So what we figured out was that customers absolutely love to be appreciated. And what most people don't realize is that satisfied customers, one of your greatest sources of new revenue.
Yeah.
So take the time to build good customer referral programs. Most people's websites I look at have nothing that talks about we love referrals. And they wonder why it doesn't work.
I'm going to talk to my guys
when
we're done. As soon as we're done with this, I'm going to go talk to them about that. I love this one. For the first couple years, no one in my company had a salary except one person. Everything was commissions.
Sure.
You talk about low salaries and high bonuses.
So, and where this really comes from, it comes from the IPO world, right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to go public and you're raising, let's say, $10 million.
Yeah.
And everyone that's on the corporate team is getting big salaries, I would never invest a dime with that team. Now, if you're a seasoned business, let's say you're over 10, 20, $50 million a year, right? It's different. Now you're starting to attract players that are going to take you from where you're at to hyper growth, right? But when you're first starting out, I'm a huge fan of, I love a low salary, but a big bonus.
Yeah.
Which means that they believe they can produce.
Yeah.
Because you haven't really proved the model yet, right? So as you're proving them, and they haven't proven themselves, even if you're going to bring on a contractor, listen, if you're going to tell me how great you are, how much does it cost to take care of your family? How much is your rent? How much is your food? Okay, so that's going to cost you $6,000. Then your salary, instead of being $20,000 a month or $15,000, it's going to be $6,000 a month. But your bonus will be $20,000 a month, which means if you produce, you're going to have one of the best years ever. But if you don't produce, you got 3 months here.
Yeah.
Because, and if they won't take the low salary and high bonus, it means what?
They don't believe in themselves.
They don't believe in themselves.
Incredible.
Or they don't believe in you. It's one of the two.
Yeah.
That's where the watcher program kicks in. They just want to watch.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you want to watch, but everybody that starts a business should realize that you're in startup mode all the time. Cash is like oxygen, so be frugal with the cash. Now, it's easier when you start having big months, right? When you have days that are bigger than your quarters, when you have weeks that are bigger than your years, that's a different type of problem to have, right? But when you're first starting out, always focus on attracting the right people that love not getting these big salaries, but smaller salaries, big bonuses, because it tells you they're a producer.
One of the developers in one of the other execs, he's my CTO, he developed this, he went on Poe and he took hours and hours of content of me talking and put it into an AI chatbot where basically it answers the questions as if it is me.
Right. Yep.
We're selling it for $27, like nothing. Like
no, sell it for $1,000.
Well, no, we have a miniature one, and then the main one we're going to sell in the main program.
You can literally create your own ChatGPT today.
Yes, correct. Well, we're running
sell a membership for $1,000.
We're running this one on Poe, and I know you mentioned before about doing it on your own platform as well.
You can do it on ChatGPT.
Yeah, for sure.
You can create your own GPT.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, you definitely
I know
can.
guys are doing it right now. He's made $250,000 from it already.
Yeah,
on a $1,000 membership.
We make different bots. We have one bot that will go through your photos, one bot that will do invites for you.
This is just where they can ask him questions.
Correct.
There's nothing else. It does nothing else, but you can ask him questions.
There's the different bots are specialized in different types of questions.
Cool.
That's exactly right. Yeah. But this one's limited. There's going to be a master one that we're going to
cool.
put in the main program where it's going to go through like 30,000 hours of content and then just come up with answers. And then I have to test it every day to make sure that it's perfect.
Well, that's where the work comes into.
Yeah. So here's the thing. You also in a previous interview, I think it was on the the Pawn Stars, when you were talking about artificial intelligence, all the things you can do with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
For me, as more of a technician, a creative, I'm not a coder, but I was able to write code using artificial intelligence.
You can today.
It seems like a lot of the technical stuff I can take off my plate using AI models, even copywriting, which is amazing. Crazy that you can get really solid copywriting, email blasts, that kind of stuff. Can you talk about all the things that artificial intelligence, because I feel like it's underrated even now for people understanding what it can do.
Well, I don't think people realize how powerful it is. So 5 years from today, you're going to either wish you learned AI or you hired someone that learned AI within your team. But starting right now today, if you're not using AI in your business, you're going to get beat.
Yeah.
Because the way you can now condense time frames that used to take you 6 weeks to 6 months and tens of thousands of dollars now cost you $10.
Yeah.
Right. I've seen a product called InVideo. So InVideo.ai is a new tool that I can just upload a website about you and it can build the whole website with generative AI.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So I take the generative AI and have my own teams, then put our personal touch on it. So now all of a sudden you've got these little 1-minute videos, some of these videos, and people don't really care about long form video anymore. They want something called power clips. There's an app called Semble. So open up your podcast, take slices of that, use Semble, push it out with InShot, and build your list. I'm telling you, the greatest resource for business owners and entrepreneurs is your list. The mistake we make is we don't use mobile. We don't use MMS. There's a platform called Mobex Pro. My son runs the company. It is the hottest all-in-one format, a 90% open rate on your text, a 30% click rate. So now all of a sudden, you can send short-form videos, 18-second clips, and I'm telling you, the engagement on those short-form clips is 100 times greater than your emails.
Yeah.
So why not leverage the fact, I didn't get your message. Yes, you did. And you opened it 4 times. And I seen what time you opened it, right?
Yeah.
So documentation always beats conversation.
Yeah.
You got to learn to inspect what you expect. And you really have to understand that today, people do business with your social before they do business with you. So we teach a process called Preneur.ai. It's a great thing to build your little one-page online that links only to your socials that are active. Don't tell them to go to your websites first, right? Begin to use podcasts to do content drivers, where you can just use short, just 20 minutes. Take Semble, rip it out, get all those little sound bites out of there, push those out on InShot, but make sure everything you produce has a call to action.
Yeah.
Which means create that 7-second little teaser at the end that gives them a gift. Could be a free report. 10 things you have to know about, having a conversation with the most beautiful woman in the world.
Yeah.
And you give that away, which you're already doing all this stuff, I'm sure. But the idea is if it can be moved from an 18-second power clip to an opt-in, what most people don't realize is that most sales happen on your 11 to 17 touch. But 90% of salespeople never call more than 4 times. So if 90% happens on the 11 to 17, and most people never call more than 4 times, it's hard to get those wins. But you can begin to use personal touch with short-form video or short-form text that's 140 characters or less that people like to see their phone vibrate. They don't want to read emails anymore.
Yeah.
So I can tell you a funny story. So one of my great friends, and I learned so much from him, and then became his coach, right? A guy named Brian Tracy. I helped Brian with the turnaround for his company years ago. And one morning, it was like 7 in the morning in Chicago, I got 3 emails from Brian. I'm like, really? 3 emails before 7 a.m.? So I sent him a text. I'm like, really? 3 emails before? So I figured he's in California. I'm like, 3 emails before 7 a.m.? He sends me right back on text, says, buy or die, love you.
Yeah.
Which means buy or get off the list, right?
Yeah.
And see, the thing is that you're better off to keep pushing out good content. And that's the secret. Push out content. People love good content. Just kill them with good content. And then make the call to action easy, where all of a sudden it's like, if they don't buy, they feel like they've missed out.
Do you have a set number? So right now I'm doing 3 posts on Instagram per day. Different platforms, we have different stuff. I have one long form video come out Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday on my YouTube.
Yep.
Is there a set list that you found is most effective for different platforms?
What I find right now are the short form videos, 1 minute or less.
Yes.
If you can push those out to your own database, the mistake we make is we don't continue to inform our database. So instead of just pushing out to social, I'm going to push out a text. It's all content driven again.
Are you embedding the video, or
That's right.
are you sending a link to a YouTube?
No, either one. I can embed the video now.
Okay.
Or I can have a link to something.
Okay.
But they're short form videos, and everything has a call. Think of like Ticketmaster. Ticketmaster never stops marketing.
Yeah.
They never stop sending about the next concert. People don't realize 30% of all email comes from casinos.
Oh, I didn't know that.
30%
That
of all emails.
sounds right, though. Yeah.
Which means they never stop sending out, but they know their client. So take a little bit of time to get to know who your client is. Who are your absolute best customers? Part of Rainmaker, we make you build out your perfect customer. We make you map your entire perfect customer. We make sure you stay in touch with them at least, right? And this is where the challenge is. For most business owners, once they make that sale, they're on to the next sale. But I'm telling you today that if you want to really increase your business, I don't care what your company is, if you're the CEO, if you're the market leader, pick up the phone or send 1 text a day just thanking a client.
Yeah.
I just want to say thanks for being a great client. Anything else we do to make your day even better? No, but thanks for the call. Boom. You'd be surprised how many of your clients will come back and buy from you again and again and again because you took a moment to pick up the phone. Take all of your sales reps and make sure that every day they call 1 client with nothing else but to say, listen, just want to call and say thanks. 5 days a week, it takes them less than 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And I want to let you know also that we do love good referrals. So if you know anyone that could use this service, make sure you think of me. But if there's anything you're working on I can help you with. See, if you will come from that place of service, your customers will send you lots of business. And yet most of us never call those best clients.
You talked about this one hack, running ads through Eventbrite for free on Facebook.
How
does that work?
Well, you got to come to the course for that one.
Okay.
You got to come to Rainmaker, but I'll give you the simple version of it, is that Eventbrite has a tab that lets you publish your event through your Facebook. And if you publish on that tab, it'll let you invite any friends you have in that city, all for free.
Oh, okay, got
It
it.
costs nothing. So if you change the location of your digital event, then Facebook changes the location of all the marketing and it lets you market to all your so-called friends, right? Now, if your friends don't respond, then what should you do? Take them off your friends list. They're probably not your friends anyway.
Buy or die.
Yeah, so I mean, and it costs you, and it's already partnered with Zoom.
Yeah.
So it's already built into it, or any other service you want to use, right? But the thing is that nobody beats good marketing. If you have really good marketing, you deliver your products or services, you're going to have a great business. So we make sure part of our business course was designed to make sure that you've got all the things, dot all the I's, cross all the T's, but you got to have the money too. And that's why do you apply for grants?
Yeah.
Why do you use good business loans? Because all the great ideas in the world need to have some capital. So.
I'd say more than half my networking and social circle comes from charity events.
Yeah.
You're one of the first people I've heard talk about this. Other than me, I heard you talking about it. I was like, yes, that's exactly right.
Works.
Can you talk about the effectiveness? And by the way, when you said 10% of the people when you sell on stage, you bring a charity event, same thing. I try to bring as many influencers as people, and I usually offer to host and film the charity as well. That's awesome. So what can you talk about charity events?
So
and like,
I always study the charities that I, first of all, align with. And then I want to find out who's on the board. Who's on the board of those charities.
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure that whatever I'm going to, I'm going to be in the right room with the right people. And so I'll plan this a year in advance. And I'll figure out which events are going to be something our whole tribe should go to. And sometimes I'll buy as many as 50 tickets for the charity. And I'll make sure that we're there to help set up. I teach my people always go early, stay for the red carpet's great, but don't just go there for the red carpet. Don't go there and just try to get dressed up. Be there early and help support, and stay to the very end. Whether it's breaking down chairs or getting people to bid on things or providing products or services. We just had a big charity here, and I think we gave away like some nights at the hotel and some other stuff, right? Just as giveaways, because once again, is that people don't always listen to what you say, but they watch what you do.
Yeah.
So you're going to find at charity events, the energy is different. People are there with a common cause to give back and make a difference for something. And because of that, when you're there with a tribe, you never talk about yourself.
Yeah.
The mistake that people make is they're talking about themselves. No, if I'm there, I'm just going to talk all about you. Come over, meet this guy. He's got this great company. Come over and say hello.
Yeah.
And before you know it, the more you shine the spotlight on others, the spotlight comes back on you.
One thing that I did to try to help these charities is I would have a team of my guys film either on iPhone or with a camera, then throw it into Opus Clips, and then make a recap video.
That's so cool.
Then I'd post it and then ask the charity for a collaboration, and then we'd help promote. Because a lot of the really good charities I work with, a lot of times they're older people who don't really know how to use social media. And so I'm trying to, not only am I hosting it for them, filming it for them, I'm also trying to help them promote it. And then the other thing I do is invite influencers. So it's be like Steve Demopoulos or Eric Roy or you or Dan Fleischman. I'm going to invite them to every one of these events. And then generally a bunch of models with like huge followings is another thing. Really help to get the word out. So that's
well, especially if they share it, right?
Yes.
So we have found that if you can create awards for some of those social influencers.
Yeah.
You know, we have found by giving out awards to social influence from the stage gets the press. And you want the press there. And I don't ask for anything. We've donated like private jet trips. We've done some cool stuff where they can auction it off, and they don't just sell one seat; they'll sell all the seats. So I did it with Dan Fleischman.
Yeah.
One of the first times I met Dan 10 years ago, he was doing a thing for like backpacks, giving away backpacks to the homeless.
Yeah.
And so I think we raised like $25,000 or more because we didn't just sell one seat in the jet; we sold multiple seats.
Yes.
And then we just gave all the money to the charity. So you're going to find that. You've got to show up for other people's success stories.
Yeah.
And if you'll show up for their success stories, people note that, and they see that once again, that you're more than just about making money. You're more about giving back and making a difference.
Yeah.
But in the charitable setting rooms, I believe that it's all about the energy.
Yeah.
You want to go there because you're going to find sometimes a different group of folks that are there for a specific cause, and the cause is not about them. They're all there for a cause about somebody else. And it creates great conversation.
If you go
and it's all follow-up.
Yes.
That's a mistake most of us make. We don't follow up.
Yeah.
Or follow through.
Dan Fleischman's Model Citizen Fund that you're talking about with the backpacks, it is loaded full of movie stars, actors, and every single insanely hot Instagram model you can think of. Dan paid out $60 million in promotional money to all these influencers, so they all come to. It's just the most incredible networking I've ever seen.
Yep.
And they, in the backpacks, literally the next day they go hand them to homeless people, taking them to orphanages, domestic abuse. It's one of the most practical charities I've ever been involved. But like that's also where I got the idea. When you go to his charity, it's like that is the hottest girl I've ever seen in my life. It's like constant whenever he does that, because that's one thing he prioritizes to make them so incredibly effective. A widely held belief in this arena that you believe is wrong.
A widely held belief in the business coaching arena that I believe is wrong.
Yeah.
No, I think that I don't believe in this whole get rich quick stuff.
Okay.
I think it's all, to be honest with you. I think that when people pitch that they can make all this money in 38 seconds, it literally sets people up for failure. And there's nothing wrong with going slow. They never tell you this, but I'm telling you, if you're listening today, there's nothing wrong with taking 2 to 4 years to build a real business. Could you imagine saying, I went to the health club once.
Yeah.
How come I'm not in great shape?
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
I've seen people do that.
I put this, how come I don't have a six-pack, though?
Yeah.
I came here one time, I should have a six-pack, right? So in business, you're better off to tell your clients, it's not going to happen overnight. If you want overnight get rich quick, then go buy a lottery ticket. Hope it works for you. But the reality is that it does take time. So people think sometimes they can make it overnight, and so they get on this get rich quick train. You guys should all write this down. Get rich quick means get broke faster.
Go broke faster, yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with the long train.
Is there a historical event, like maybe the creation of the internet, artificial intelligence, you think is underrated? One that people just don't look back on and recognize the significance of it?
Well, of course, if you look through time, right, and you start thinking about what is airplane travel done?
Yeah, incredible.
It's condensed time frames where last week I was in Barcelona for breakfast, I was in London for lunch, and I was in Vegas for dinner. Now, if I said that 150 years ago, they would have burned me at the stake.
Witchcraft.
They would have thought you're a witch. There's no way you can go from those places, right? So what I think people need to focus on is don't focus on cars in your garage. Focus on stamps in your passport.
Got it.
Go see the world.
It's not just air travel, affordable air travel.
Affordable air travel. You can fly all over Europe. I was like $40 to fly from London to. Now, if you bring bags, then you can start. Then they'll tax you to death, right? But the thing is that I don't think more than 20% of Americans even have a passport.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know
it's
how sad that
very
is?
few people. Yeah.
So
most
when
people,
you start to think that the world's a much smaller place. And if you don't see it, shame on you. Everyone thinks that they're going to live forever. We don't. So life is now. You know, I've seen some really good friends pass away just in the last few years, some in the last few months. And it's really sad because you don't know what someone else is going through.
Yeah.
So, you know, take a moment, and there's a TV show that make you phone a friend, right?
Yeah.
I would tell you that maybe phone a family person you haven't talked to in a while. You know, you're going to start to realize that life, everyone wants to go to heaven. Nobody wants to go today, right? So pick up the phone and just say hello to some people that maybe you haven't talked to in a while.
You talked about with the Wayne Newton thing, you don't want everyone clapping for you. Sometimes you have to make them feel uncomfortable. What is an uncomfortable truth that you believe in?
An uncomfortable truth that I believe in. I would think, you know, that success is not easy. People think sometimes it's easy because you only see there's something in business called the glacier effect. Have you heard of that one? So the glacier effect is that, you know, they only see the 10%. You know, they see the jets and the cars and the boats and the house and the parties and all this stuff, right? But they don't see the 90%. And the 90% is that success is not easy. Success is dedication. It's persistence. I believe if you were to define success, right? To define success is that persistence plus failure equals success. I have failures every day. Tried that, didn't work. Every day I have failures, but I still wake up and say, you know what? But I've had a lot of wins too, right? So if people ever tell you they've never had failures, then they haven't done very much, right? So I think that what's put out there is that success is easy. It's not easy, but it's worth it. I will tell you that there's nothing greater in life. I mean, one of the greatest things in life is watch your kids grow up to become good humans.
Yeah.
You know, all the deals I've ever done, I don't care, money, partnerships, jets, all this cool stuff, right? Nothing is even close to raising good kids.
One thing, I had Dr. Orion Taraban on here a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah.
and one of the things he said is, in order to get success, you must always overpay. Because what
true.
it costs you, because everyone wants that success. So just, you know, X amount of effort. Well, no, everyone else is doing X amount
That's
of
right.
effort. It has to get to a point where it's almost irrational, the amount of work you put in
That's right.
in order to be successful.
Right.
Yeah.
I think part of that is that when it comes to the word success, you always pay full price and you always pay in advance. You always pay full price, you always pay in advance. And this is the thing that most entrepreneurs don't want to believe that. They believe that they can do all these shortcuts. Even people that come to our business course, I'm like, listen, if you're not going to put the work in, stay home. If you're not going to write your grant, write your business plan, redo your marketing funnels, sales funnels, loyalty programs, upsells, downsells, partnerships, run all your KPIs, then stay home. Just skip it. You can do it all on your own. But if you're really just about building that 7, 8, or 9 or 10-figure business, you better have these things in place. You know, and we make and build out a whole program around family, faith, and fun. You know, family, faith, and fun first. I can tell you that we book all of our business schedules around concerts I go to with my kids.
Yeah.
We just came back from 3 days at Drake.
Yeah.
We do Lollapalooza. We do Rolling Loud, right? And,
Yeah.
and I started going about 15, 20 years ago because I was worried about my kids. But then I became fans. I didn't know who Drake was or Lil Wayne. I didn't know Migos, right? But I was at Offset's birthday party.
Yeah.
Because I started to realize that I liked the music, you know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't miss those things. And this is the thing, too, that for entrepreneurs, I need you to get this and get this quick. Your kids grow up fast. They grow up really fast. So do the things with your kids, even if you hate them. Now my son Austin is 33. My daughter Marissa, 31, just had a baby, so now I'm a grandfather. Gives you a whole different perspective on life.
Great.
My youngest son, Evan, 27, DJ, and he's into tech and helping some of our companies.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that if you will just invest that time, it'll be the greatest investment you've ever made in your life.
Last question.
Yep.
What is the biggest misconception about Bill Walsh?
Oh, you know that. I mean, I get
you're
it
the
all the
head
time.
coach
He's
of the
he's so arrogant.
Yeah.
He's so mean. He's so this. You know, he's all this. But they don't realize the work I put into it. You know, and I think that sometimes I'm very approachable. They don't think I'm approachable.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I can't call him. I can't. It's like, you can. When you come from nothing, you're always more humble. You know what I mean? And the thing that I don't have a lot of bandwidth for is I don't have bandwidth for ignorance. I don't have bandwidth for people who want to take advantage of my time or other people's time. But I'm not mean. You know, I'm a tough business coach. If you want a nice coach, I'm not the guy. I'm a very matter of fact because I know what I know, and I've seen enough, and I can see. I've always had the gift that I can see things in people they can't see in themselves, and I can pull it out of them. But if they're not willing to step outside their comfort zone, right, then it's going to be a tough journey for them.
I thought the biggest misconception is that you were not the head coach of the 49ers.
That's right. I get that one a lot too, for sure. Yeah. But I did play in his golf outing one year.
Did you? That must have been
so funny story. So we played Olympic Country Club in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And it was 4 of us, and we had a celebrity golf partner. Well, my name is Bill Walsh, who the head of the 49ers coach is Bill Walsh. My cart is parked right in the front, right, with my team. And so it's one of my great friends that passed away a couple years ago from Canada. Him and I, we hook up with 2 software guys. That's our foursome. And they give us the celebrity players, a guy named Gary Plummer. And Gary Plummer, they have him down as a 0 handicap. But he's got rental clubs on the cart. And so these guys are like, as he comes walking up with flip-flops, right? They're like, hey, we're so excited you're a 0 handicap. He's like, 0 handicap? He said, but where's your clubs and where's your... He said, I'm not a 0. He said, I am the handicap. And literally one of the greatest days of golf ever. And then it was for the 49ers football outing.
Yeah.
And then as we were coming in at Olympic Country Club, private club just outside of San Francisco, me and my buddy turned around and played the whole course. And because my card said Bill Walsh on it, nobody said a word to us, right? Let him go. And we still made it in for the dinner. So one of the great, and Bill Walsh was very approachable. I met Joe Montana and Jerry Rice, all these guys, right? So, but it's the same thing. Show up for charity events. Magic happens at charity events.
Yes.
Yeah. So that, I get that one a lot too.
I remember,
Bill Walsh is going to speak at our conference. I thought Bill Walsh he is dead. He's passed away. But he lived an amazing life.
I remember Owen was like, hey, Bill Walsh is going to come speak. And I'm like, really? At an RSD thing? Bill Walsh is going to speak? Are we going over the West Coast offense?
Right, exactly.
I don't really understand.
What's he going to talk about here?
What are we talking about here? That's awesome. Where can people find you, Bill?
Easiest way to find me, of course, Instagram, Bill Walsh 360, website, ipowerteam.biz. But for all your listeners, if you want a free copy of my book, you ever seen the movie called The Secret? I wrote a book called The Obvious. You can all have a free copy. All you have to do is text the word WIN. If you text the word WIN right now to 26786, you'll get the book, you'll get the newsletter, and a free ticket for one of our upcoming events. Awesome. I always like to give away stuff for free, so hope you guys love the book. It'll give you some insights on what it takes to launch, grow, and build a great company, and our newsletter is free for the whole year. Yeah. So the bundle's around $300. They all get it for free.
Well, it was great to have you here.
Absolutely, man.
I think we should do some live streams at your podcast mansion.
That'd be fun. Anytime.
Genius idea for the podcast mansion. I thought it was really great.
We've opened a couple of them now already.
Yes.
Yeah, it's working.
Incredible. I'd love to come help you guys out.
We would love that.
That'd be terrific. And man, thank you so much for stopping by. My team was really excited.
Let me know when you have one of your events. I'd love to come speak at some of your events.
For sure. I appreciate that, man. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining us again. Getting the podcast going again has just been a labor of love. I'm going to be like 4 episodes ahead just because so many people want to do this, and it's been really, really terrific. Thank you guys for watching every week, and I will see you guys next week.